Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
You are what you watch.
I should have really made some effort.
No.
I didn't
Hello,
really
my name is
know.
Harrington Boatco. I'd like to welcome you to our show. Tonight, let's see, it's the second Monday after the election, and it is best not to delve into it and to question Snow White because I've been really on the opposite side of the poll. Now, sure, I have issues with the COMELEC, but let's leave it at that for a while. Yes, having been a candidate, having failed miserably at the election, people ask me, hindi ka ba dapat nasasama ng loob? The answer is yes, of course. I should be. And should I not be, then I took this whole exercise as a joke. And if it's one thing you and I must realize, don't believe what you see on broadcast TV. Politics is serious business. Our politicians have to be serious people. They have not only to be competent, they are required to have a vision. A discipline if necessary. Tayo po, we look at them and give them a different brand, a different image. We even put them down. But without these people, these are the leaders of government, whether you or I like it or not. So, let's look forward and see what we can expect in about 5 weeks after the SONA, the new breed of legislators and the new breed of administrators who will be taking over. In this show tonight, I'd like to introduce to you once again. I've had him on my show some 2-3 years ago, but as a diplomat, because this is his background. I'd like to show you a book. This is the Outstanding Dignitary Award, which is given to our guest, no less than former Ambassador Roy Seneres. He's the younger brother of one of our hosts here in GNN, Ike Seneres. An intellectual, definitely. An advocate for national unity and national building, definitely. Competence for legislation, you find out for yourself. But look at it this way. It's not a matter of making a contest out of anything. He is now the congressman-elect of a party list, the OFWs, who've garnered some 700,000 votes. So there's no question any longer whether makukuha niyan 2% or 3% or 1% of the vote. He's already the congressman-elect, ladies and gentlemen. Former Ambassador, Congressman-elect Roy Seneres. Hello, Congressman. Pwede na Congressman, ano? Ibang title mo na naman. A new face in your life. You have reinvented yourself, Ambassador Roy.
Congressman-elect.
Di ba? Iba
Thank
na.
you. Thank you so much, Harry. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for...
Gabi. We're taping in the afternoon, but the show comes out in the evening.
Ulit.
Sige. So, excited ka na.
Sige.
Excited ka na.
Excited na.
Oo, siyempre, handa ka na. Nagulat ako, tumatakbo ka nga. But you know, ang maganda lang when I read your Facebooks, tsaka yung mga legislative agenda mo, I realized when we were talking some 2-3 years ago, these have been your very same advocacies. Hindi mo naman ginawa to, pumasok, pwede ako maging congressman, makalusot ako dito. Itong mga mga kinaiinisa mo na noon pa. Correct me if I'm wrong, because of the issue, but more on the diplomatic side.
Yes, you're right, Harry.
Now you've joined the other side. Why?
I could see that there was so much inadequacy insofar as the infrastructure for the protection of our 10 million OFWs is concerned, as well as the protection of the families they live in the home front. And so I said to myself, I better try to be there to enlighten the congressmen that our OFWs need this shield of protection for themselves.
The OFWs undoubtedly are our modern-day heroes. whether we like it or not. You're talking 20 billion, 25 billion.
22 billion US dollars.
Yeah, but including the non-traditional, non-formal sectors of how monies are transferred, baka 25 to 30 billion pa yan, US dollars. Kasi if it's one thing that we do export, it's not cars, refrigerators, or anything else. It's talent, it's people.
Yes.
Diba? Now, you have been in the foreign service for the longest time and you were a professional, no less.
I've spent 15 years of my life as
Bureau,
a Filipino
yes.
diplomat, starting as a labor attaché and then eventually ambassador to the United Arab Emirates.
Do you feel that your advocacy, you can now continue it as a legislator more than inside the diplomacy?
I believe
The diplomatic
so.
corps.
I believe so because we need to enact more laws which are designed to protect not only the overseas Filipino workers but their families as well back home.
Okay.
I can cite to you one of these, the matter of remittance fees.
I heard that when you were on ANC.
This ought to be regulated.
Bakit? Ibig sabihin yung sinasabi mo dun sa kabilang stasyon na ang rate for exchange and transfer, money transfer, talagang iba-iba ba yan?
Paiba-iba, and as a matter of fact, the banks in the home front, the banks here in the Philippines dictate what the exchange rate should be. Iba-ibang klase, may interbank rate, may commercial rate, may tourist rate. It all depends upon them. Considering that OFWs remit regularly, not only for on a one-time basis,
No, regular yan.
but
Nagpapadala ng pera dito yan.
on a series of remittances for the whole year, for the second year, all throughout the time that they are there, they should be considered as special clients of the banks and remittance companies. Do not...
Ibig sabihin, walang batas na.
wala pa.
Ibig sabihin, kanya-kanyang rate niyan, depending
Wala pa,
on...
wala pa. Kaya merong iba na nag-charge ng $1 per remittance, merong iba na $3, yung iba may $7.
Kawawa naman yung mga...
Kawawa talaga, lalo na pagkasambahay, lalo na pag domestic helper.
Mas
ang
lumalala.
nagre-remit, her salary would only be $150 a month or $200, notwithstanding the fact
Correct.
that there are regulations that the minimum salary of a domestic helper should be
$420, diba?
$400.
Yeah, $400 na lang po.
This is more violated than...
Can legislation
Than the
cure
owner.
that, for example, just on the wages, the standard wage law, supposedly?
we already have a legislation
Pero hindi
requiring
natutupad.
that the minimum salary of domestic helpers
Should be 400 US.
as approved by the contracts being approved, processed and approved by the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration. But, you know, what can the domestic helper do when she's already within the confines of the employer's household? Can the
na.
ambassador enter into the household and demand that the ambassador should pay
But alam ba
400?
mga embahador natin abroad,
Yes.
yan ang mga situation?
Yes, this is-
Then why don't they report it over the years? O they
No,
did.
In fairness to
You
the
have reported
labor attachés and the ambassadors, they have been blacklisting employers
Okay.
who do not comply with the law, but there are so many ways to circumvent this. Once again, they would ask for a domestic helper from the Philippines, and in the name of another employer, their uncle or their
Hanip
brother.
talaga.
so many
Bastusan
ways.
talaga.
Bastusan talaga. Kaya ang isang katulong na sumasahod lamang ng $150 a month, that should be less than 8,000 pesos a month. Kaltasan mo pa
Kawawa
ng
naman.
remittance fees na $5 per remittance over a 12-month period. That would be huge
malaki-laki.
already
Yeah, $60
in
na
comparison
yan.
to
Kawawa
her
naman.
compensation for the year.
Now, Congress is the combination of 300 smart, supposedly competent,
280 more or less.
280 egos.
Yeah.
Everyone has a mandate, the district and the party list groups. Everyone has a mandate, everyone has an ego. You need to sort of create alliances. Kung hindi, you'll be the odd man out. Di ba?
Yes.
Hindi gaya ng diplomatic circles. You're abroad, and once you become ambassador, like in your case, you've already sat in that position. What you say, go. You're Mr. President in that country.
Yes.
Diba? You're the chief executive.
Yes.
Now you're going to the legislature. How will you tackle this issue? It's a different sort of person. Abang ko from administrative, magle-legislative ka. How are you recreating yourself? How do you reinvent yourself in this issue?
First of all, basic probably is to be a friend of everyone.
Kaya mo naman, may PR ka naman eh. May
Friend
PR ka naman eh.
Friend of every ego.
Totoo yan, di ba? You have to admit, na? Well,
and
ladies
secondly, Harry, I have made up my mind, even before the campaign period, that I would align. Should I win, I would align with the president. I like him. He is unlike his predecessor.
Which you love. I'm being sarcastic, but go ahead.
And so I will be a pro-administration party list representative. I will support his pet bills or whatever, pet measures to be enacted by law, by Congress into law. And let us put it this way. The 10 million OFWs are considered as our army of OFWs fighting the war against poverty in the home front, in different
I agree with that
battlefields
statement.
overseas.
I agree.
If we consider them as an army, then the president, no less than the president of the
Is the
Philippines
head.
himself, should be the commander-in-chief of this army, and I would need his help
Yes.
to take care of this army. I would be his lieutenant or whatever.
But, Mr. Congressman, ang nangyayari nito, the president has 3 years to go. Mr. Binay, the vice president, is taunted to be the next president, di ba? I mean, ito ang politics natin ngayon eh. He's made it his personal advocacy. Wala naman nag-assign sa kanya dyan eh. To go around the world and to reach out to our OFWs. He's been doing this for the last 2 years. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, yes.
The first attempt was to go into, was it housing or something? And then he moved into this.
No, I did not move into OFW matters. It is being taken charge by him in a concurrent capacity.
A concurrent, yeah. So, but he's been very busy with it. He travels.
Yes.
He goes out of his way. No, this man is very diligent, without question. Now we're going to see in the next 3 years, which I think, magbabanggaan yung dalawa na yan eh, one way or the other, because you have interest there. You know, you have Rojas on the other side of the president who wants to be president, Binay on the other side. Well, maybe some other interested parties. Wouldn't it be smarter to hang with the vice president or with the president? You don't see it
No,
that
but
way.
I am not thinking of politics here anymore over the next 3 years. You know, I can work. I think I can work harmoniously with the vice president. I will consider
You have the same advocacy.
Yes, I will work under the president or with the president being the commander-in-chief of this 10 million OFWs. And
Right.
considering that the vice president is also involved with OFWs, I will do my best to work harmoniously with him, as well as with the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. As a matter of fact, probably after my swearing in, I might have to call on the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. I will offer him my support. Because you have one common objective, and that is the protection and welfare of OFWs.
Alam mo, no other person would be more competent for this job and for this advocacy of your party list that you represent now than you because of your experience. Eh. Not for anything, pero dinaanan mo na, inukutan mo na, and you started as a labor attaché.
I was with the OFWs for 15 long years.
Biro mo.
I know how they feel. I know their joys and sorrows. I know how they smell. They smell good.
Hanggang smell. Hanggang smell. And they can, well, obviously, tama-tama ikaw aakit ka dyan. Bagay ka dyan sa batas nito kasi naiintindihan mo ang sitwasyon. Ladies and gentlemen, I forgot to tell you, and I was showing the book up here. This says, if you can read it, Outstanding Dignitary Award. This was given to Congressman-elect Roy Seneres, who is a former ambassador. So here you can see for yourself his competence, his background, and his understanding of what our OFWs are, our modern-day heroes, na totoo lang, pinagkukulangan, malaking bagay. What other projects do you have other than remittances that you have in mind? Marami yan, I'm sure.
Yeah, I have a 15-point platform, Harry.
Malaki na pala.
It dwells on the ambassadors being required by law. There ought to be a law which would require them to exercise the diligence of a good father of a family in taking care of OFWs in their jurisdiction. What does that mean? if there is a law which would make you surrogate father or mother, as the case may be, of the OFWs, then it follows that as a father, you have to go and visit jails where there are Filipinos being imprisoned. You have to visit sick OFWs in
But don't
hospitals.
ambassadors do this?
Because right now there is a distinction between diplomatic and consular. This is visiting Filipinos in jail is considered as consular.
See, technical yan. Hindi alam ng taong bayan yan eh.
Being the province or authority of the consul. As a matter of fact, an ambassador has no authority to solemnize marriages. Only the consul can do that.
No kidding.
Yes.
Baliktad pala
Yes.
yan.
That's why in visiting jailed Filipinos, the ambassador is not required to do so also. But this is very important. This is very important for ambassadors to visit jails because he will be sending a very, very clear and strong signal to the host country, especially the president or ruler of the host country, that we care so much for our people, that they should be careful in deciding cases, for instance, of murder or self-defense, as the case may be, that it might not come out as a hometown decision, because when a Filipino kills somebody on self-defense, the victim is from that place, the police which investigates the place is from that place, the judge is from that place, and so on and so forth. But we can balance the equation by the ambassador himself showing interest in the case of the Filipino by visiting him in jail, by attending hearings, because he is the surrogate father. What kind of father are you if you don't even
How
visit
about for
your
those
sons and daughters?
Filipinos and OFWs who are really guilty of such crimes? Now, you have been in that situation.
Yes.
What is the percentage of those na nakikita mo guilty talaga, and tsaka those na namamanipulate
Well,
by
even
the
in our
times?
jurisdiction, as well as in any other country, an accused has rights too.
Good
You
point. Okay, good point.
You really have to show that you care for the
Kasi ako
Filipino who has
minsan-
been accused.
Kasi ako minsan, ambassador, na ano ako eh. I should call you Congressman.
Roy Hari, Roy Hari will do.
But
Roy
Congressman,
Hari.
hindi, kasi,
Do you know, Hari, that I believe that you are one of the best congressmen the country does not have, but one day will have.
well, alam mo,
But one day will have.
hindi kasi ako namili, hindi ako nagbuhos ng pera. Ikaw, how you did it, I'd like to tackle that in the second part of the show because it is unique, it is different. Maybe it's your destiny. I'd like to think of it as it's really your destiny.
Probably.
No, because I can't think of a better man suited for this position with this advocacy. Tsaka yung party list mo, bagay na bagay, shoot na shoot ka dun eh.
Yes.
Not for anything. Ako naman, no, I was going back to that topic. When I read in the newspaper somebody is carrying cocaine or marijuana, heroin or whatever, or a stool, di ba? Yung stool, a donkey, di ba? What do you call that? You carry drugs for somebody else.
Yeah.
When they get caught, I cannot feel any remorse or apathy for them because sa loob-loob ko, you create the crime, you do the time. Di ba yun ang thinking ko?
Correct.
But sometimes we are forced into situations because we're Filipinos, tulungan natin yun, tulungan natin. Pero alam mo, hindi dapat tinutulungan yung mali eh.
Hindi rin.
Ako nakikita, ikaw, you've experienced this.
We have to help them. You know, that is a foreign territory. That is not the Philippines. You have no sister or brother or lolo or lola who can visit you there. You are entirely alone there. And you are supposed to be
But what if you're guilty? It doesn't matter.
But you're supposed to be considered as innocent until proven otherwise. And then, once you are convicted,
I guess you're right.
Once you are convicted as guilty, we have to look into the background of the Filipino. Probably, he was forced into that kind of situation by
understanding.
extraneous forces. We have to check his background in the Philippines. Was he a law-abiding citizen in this country? Was he? Can we get a certification from his principal, his teacher, that he was a very good son or daughter of his
So it could have been a forced situation.
Yeah, so
Na force majeure siya.
we should not stop until the very end, so that not even God will tell us, you have not done. You have not done so much for that fellow. You were lacking in assisting him.
Well, you see how you even argued that point. Right there. The surrogate father, that's interesting because what you do is you put emotion into it and you put the human aspect into it rather than just the legal or the practice of being ambassador. So I didn't understand that there is a consular side and the ambassador side. I'm sure you will not have a hard time passing that. I'm not sure how you're going to pass the bill on the different rates. Alam mo naman mga bangko, it's called greed that promotes all these little manipulators that transfer money. And their biggest suckers, because they're forced to being suckers, are the OFWs. Malaking pera pinakikitaan dyan, nakakaawa eh.
Yes.
But you have to do this if you don't. What are the other agendas? What is in the list? The 15 points? Sige nga.
So far as the family back in the Philippines is concerned, we have to obligate. We have to find a way by enacting a law which would authorize ambassadors to obligate erring fathers. The cases of OFW parents, especially fathers, who neglect to support their children back home, their family, is rather pervasive. In my foundation, the OFW Family Club, we have so many wives asking for our help to reach out to their husbands for support. As a matter of fact, Harry, I have here a text from a housewife of an OFW in Butuan City asking for my help. Nagugutom na daw sila kasi yung husband niya sa Dubai ay hindi nagpapadala ng support sa kanya for so many months na. Kaya ginawa ko nga dahil taga Butuan City ako, I texted some of my friends there to help out. In the meantime, nahahanapan ko ng solusyon ito. I will write the Philippine ambassador to the United Arab Emirates to look for this irresponsible husband and to require him to send support. But right now, the ambassadors are rather reluctant to do this because there is a process in law which says that the mother should file a case for support here in the Philippines, in the Municipal Trial Court or the RTC. But, you know, the
MTC,
wife does not have any penny anymore
Hindi na kaya.
to her name, and yet you ask her to file a case in court. She cannot even leave her children already, or also going hungry because of lack of support. And then you require her to go to court for that. So my proposal is authorize the ambassador to refuse to renew the OFW's passport until he can show proof that he already remitted
But
money.
to be a devil's disciple, Congressman, isn't it the independent right of the man, being the husband, refusing to give? Kung problema niya, ayaw niya bigyan asawa niya, can we compel them?
Of course, we can. There is a law, as a matter of fact, that
meron palang batas.
if the children are minors and you don't support them financially or otherwise, you can be charged with a criminal offense.
A criminal?
Yes,
ano
abuse
pala
of
yan?
minors.
I didn't know
Abuse of minors. That's a criminal offense.
No, 'cause I
But
know-
how can we expect the impoverished family or the wife to be going to court and file this, which will take a long process?
Pero marami dyan, alam mo, the allure of travel abroad, dollars versus pesos. Pag biyahe na marami dyan, as you well know, may pamilya na rin dun eh. Tapos may pamilya rin dito, may pamilya rin dun. We know the social cost of OFWs. We've seen it, anyway, before you answer that, Congressman, we're going to take a short break. Ladies and gentlemen, give us a couple of minutes and we'll be right back. And let's see if we can tackle all these other issues. The other big issue I'd like to go into is to find out exactly how a party list, without the power of the millions the senators had, or even many congressmen, was able to actually put themselves center stage with no less than 700,000 votes. No? I mean, I can understand buhay, no? It's called evangelism. I can understand maybe the other party list groups who have been there maybe 4 or 5 times already, or since the birth of the party list system. But how the OFWs came in and how they were able to actually visualize and turn into votes the emotions, the responsibilities of these people toward proper legislation for themselves. That is a question that would be nice to hear an answer for. We'll be right back.